So we thought we had it all together. We had the rig, we had the advertisement, the publicity, and everything like that. And we had a super big open house. And we had visiting dignitaries like you wouldn't believe. See these people here? They're the selectmen in the town. They're all the big wheels from the state. Joe tried his best to get the governor to come, and the governor backed out like 3 days before this took place. But nevertheless, we had this big open house and big official opening. Joe gave a talk on the police benefits of this organization, which I always had to chuckle about. I gave a talk about ham radio. We had all these guys here, ham radio operators. And finally, the formal opening, I had a walkie in my hand right here. This is back in 1980, where my hair was a lot darker. And I wore some pretty funny suits back then. We all did, yeah. So the fellow who I towered over here, Dennis Condon, he was the commissioner of the state police. He said a few words in the microphone and into the walkie, and the rig, which is right around the corner of Diane, we started the whole thing. So that was pretty much the beginning, okay? I went through about 5 years real quickly. Then we came into this section called the growth of part. And
I'm going to do one other thing.
Sure.
Is I also brought with me the little,
oh yes, okay,
the little cards
good.
that were right next to, that were right on the dispatch.
Yeah.
And
I have a slide of one of them, but
okay. I didn't know you were getting
no, that's good.
What I'll do is I'll pass this around, and this you'll be able to see what the dispatchers used to write every time they get a call on the radio.
You should have brought a whole stack of, I have a box of the blue cards.
I believe it. I have a picture. I have two of those.
Oh.
But anyway, we started out with our pumpkin patrols, okay, which we do today. We started this first patrol. Yeah, where I was now. First pumpkin patrol was in 1977, and the one that we do this year will be the 33rd one in a row. And we got a lot of publicity. It says here, police ham radio partnership impacts vandalism. Boy, do we feel good. This is a picture, really classy picture. This is Bud Hill. This is Al Sutherland. This is Bob Knowles. All three silent keys, and Frank Arkovic in the back. And this was taken to the police station. It looks more like a lineup than anything else. That's the crew. As we were dressed back in the 1970s and early 1980s, going out on a pumpkin patrol. Okay, let's try the next one. Okay. You had shown me one of these cards. We'll get to that in a minute. We first started out by letting everybody know they could call in 14652, the simplex frequency, and get a response. If they had an emergency, if somebody came across an automobile accident or something like that, they could call that in. The chief, as you saw in an earlier picture, monitored the rig in the station during the day, as did his dispatcher. At night, we worried about how to do it, so the chief tried to talk us all into having a rig next to our bed, listening to 14652. Well, my wife threw that idea out. But I never told Chief Cannell that I wasn't monitoring. But one day I met his wife, Joan, in the grocery store. And she comes over to the book and says, "You got to put an end to this." I said, "What's that?" She says, "This monitoring all night long." I said, "Well, what's the trouble?" Now, Joe lives right across the street here, okay, in a really, really high elevation here. She says, "There are two guys who get up early in the morning, and they're out in Leominster," she says, "and they get on the air on 14652 and talk to each other on their whole trip into Cambridge. And we can hear the whole thing." So what we did is we put a tone decoder in, other thing was that we felt that if it was an emergency, even the dispatcher at the police station, who was not a ham, could answer. We gave them a nice script so that they knew what they would say and how they would handle it. And that worked out pretty well. We also monitored at the police station, which was a lot of fun. We have a schedule here. This is a schedule from back in 1984. Terry's on there, I'm on there. Not many other people were on that schedule. We used to monitor from about 5 o'clock to 7 o'clock at night. We're in the time period during the day when we get most of the calls. But when we monitored, we had these monitor cards that you've seen floating around here. And if an incident is phoned in or transmitted in, we write it all out and give it to the dispatcher. And the dispatcher takes care of it. Okay, some information here. What I did was I graphed some information. And this is emergency calls as a function of the time of day. Okay? And you see immediately, here's midnight, and you come about 6 or 7 in the morning, it peaks up. And then come about, this is 4 or 5 in the afternoon, it peaks up also. So what we found very early in the game is that the calls we got in the police station came mainly during the community contacts like that. Next morning, the first guy asked us to look and said, wait a minute, there's only one balloon. Another one, in the middle of the night, it's taken off, and the primary breeze was toward the east all night long. So we figured it drifted somewhere over Logan Airport. But that was a lot of fun. Next slide. We got a lot of publicity too. And Terry is pictured in both of these. This particular piece of publicity says, hamming it up, radio operators' first line of defense. Now I like that. Okay, America's ears in the Gulf. Well, it turned out that this was composed a few days after our first invasion of Iraq. Okay? And the newspaper people were desperate for information. And this fellow, and this picture, by the way, and kind of rough, but this was taken up at HRO. Okay? This is Terry. This is Paul Randazzo. This is me. And this is Tom Hughes. Okay. We all got together up there, and the member of the staff writer from the Lowell Sun asked, well, tell us what you know. Okay, well, Christ, we're hams, okay, and this war just started a few days ago. We knew next to nothing. And the only thing that I could recall was, back then I was also a shortwave listener. And one of the things I like to listen to was the, what's it called, the International Air Traffic Control Frequencies, which are sort of scattered in the HF band. And one of the things I noticed, the night that they attacked, was they were turning airplanes away and returning them from the Middle East. I thought it was very strange, because I listened to these guys for ages. And that was the only thing I could contribute to this whole article.
Other than we knew that we were hearing a bunch more military air traffic
Yes.
on the big planes heading over the top of the pole.
Yeah.
So we knew there were things. I think that's kind of what that stirred this guy up, is that we were listening to not ham stuff, but military air. It was all in the clear then, so why not?
This other one is also Terry. It says, Terry Stater, president of the Westford Police Amateur Radio Team. I forget what it has to do with the San Francisco earthquake. And that's a picture of Terry in his previous house, down in his basement in the radio shack. So if anything happens, we always had the Lowell Sun and the Westford Eagle doing this publicity. Something I'm really proud of, and something that I think was one of the highlights of all the 35 years that I've been with Hart. We established a ham radio club at the Westford Academy. Westford Academy is the Westford High School And we worked with Bob Riccadelli, who was the electronics teacher there. And they formed a ham radio club. And Bob set aside a small room that was only locked most of the day until these guys had free time, they could go in. And we had 2 meters, and we had an HF station. One of the things the guys wanted to do, and we said you can do it, is talk to the astronauts. So they had computer printouts of when the astronauts are coming over, and they knew the frequency, the uplink and downlink, and day after day after day, they'd go and they'd try, but they were being blown away by these guys who were running better stations and with antennas that track the satellites and everything. They were getting discouraged. One day, these 3 guys here, trying to contact the space shuttle, and it was going from west to east, and as it went out over the Atlantic toward Europe, they made a contact. It was the only guy that this astronaut was hearing, and they recorded it. They were exuberant, and they got a lot of publicity for it. And the only reason they did was we were so close to the Atlantic Ocean here that these guys were out over the Atlantic toward Europe, and the big guns, if you will, the Midwest and everything else, they couldn't make a direct shot. These guys could. They did it with 20 watts and I think a vertical antenna. So that was one of the biggest successes. What I thought one of the greatest things Park did. Some of these guys came back and helped us out in later years. These guys were in a scout troop, Troop 159, and I was an assistant scoutmaster back then, so they knew me. They knew Bob Riccadelli. I'm pretty sure Terry and I forget who else helped out.
There's a bunch of us that donated equipment.
But that was a real success. Okay. Now we're getting into the modern era, and you guys can recognize a lot of stuff. Okay? The last 10 years, one of the things we did, I believe, is a shift in club character. Up until this time, we were pretty much a emergency-focused organization. And you'll see in a slide coming up what that meant to the park population, the number of hands we had. It was fairly low and consistently low. Well, we started in with a lot of things. Hugh helped us acquire a special operations vehicle, and I've always been eternally grateful to Hugh for that. Hugh is also a key guy in getting us this place, and I'm also eternally grateful for that. We had a kit building activity. You can recognize Steve here. Steve is a better teacher, I think, than a kit builder, and I'd love to see him teach something for us. But a kit building activity by Scott and E1RD sort of put us a bit on the map. Special event station K1P, I think that was Andy's thing, if I recall correctly. So that put us on the map. 13 colonies 4th of July event. All these things began to change the character of the club.